Hey guys, and welcome to the Provokers podcast, where we talk about things you probably should too. Today I'm joined by...
Hey guys, it's Noah, or NoahDog54.
And I am Ethan, otherwise known as Flub60 Gaming on YouTube.
And I am your hilarious, handsome, amazing host, Gina Stevens, also known as John.
I think you left a couple things out. Bald, prune juice drinking.
Alright, well, you just lost points.
I don't care. You should know this by now. I don't care.
But it's like you say you have the bald tax with me, it's just like, I have the insult tax, I'm just waiting for the
insult
tax. Take up going away.
You could have had something more clever, like I have a fee for having hair.
Yeah, but he's in that sense, so I'd have to take points away from both of you, and at that point, it would be the same as taking no points away, so like, that's anyone.
I just call this lazy hosting.
I think you're just dumb. So let's. You guys got anything new the last 5 minutes between the last episode now?
Well, we heard ambulances in the last episode, meaning either Noah's killed somebody or he's in need of medical attention. So one of the two is probably going on right now.
This is actually a fake Noah.
Noah, yeah, I was gonna say Noah's actually in the real Noah's in the hospital right now. This is a fake imposter Noah. We gotta vote him out.
Yes, this is the fake version of me.
Noah, say something only the real Noah would know.
I was born in Area 51.
I thought you were just gonna stop there. I was born. I'm like, great.
I was born out of a NASCAR.
Definitely sounds like he's lying.
Yep. But
I don't know why, but when John said it sounds like you lying, that song that's so old just came into my head that just goes, why the fuck you lying?
Anyway, Noah, not Noah. Yeah, Noah, do you have a credit showcase for us?
Wow, first of all, you're telling Noah to do it, and then second of all, Career Showcase is before or after headlines, sir.
We don't get it.
Hey!
You didn't pay for Turtle Juice, did you?
No, you suck.
I don't suck, you suck. You fuck.
Point away for...
Go ahead, bitch.
Wow.
And that's a point away for...
Oh boy, it's gonna be a day, isn't it?
Yep.
Ethan, do you have either a creative showcase or a headline
John,
first?
headlines are first. Then it's creative showcase.
Headline first.
No, we're doing it different this time.
No, we're
Fuck
not
your
bringing
way.
those.
No.
Your way. Anyway, so yeah, my headline is a pretty interesting headline, and that's to say, so apparently, this person, I don't know, I don't know how this happened, but so I guess there was a wrestling match. I don't know if it's like a tournament thing. I don't watch sports, so I don't know anything. All I do know is that the thing I read, and then I'm looking at now. So people know I Show Speed. People know that by the dude by that name. To me, he was kind of in his prime. He was kind of annoying. Like I never really liked his loudness or whatever. He's calmed down just a little bit. So I like him a bit more, I guess. But he's not a person I particularly watch or anything. But he was there, I guess, and he got in the ring. I don't know if it was for a promo or for views, or I don't know what he was doing it for. But the guy that was in there was was winding up to get him, and he just pummeled him, absolutely demolished him. And then he threw him out of the ring to another dude that was also a wrestler, and that dude just chucked him behind him onto a table or whatever. And suffice to say, it didn't go well for him because he's currently in crutches and has a neck brace. And I believe his leg got tore up as well. So he had a chunk of skin off of his leg, that was just gone. So he has a patch around his leg. He's in crutches. I think from the picture I'm looking at, it looks like his leg is twisted almost backwards, which looks really bad.
Well, he played the game of fuck around to find out.
And he has a neck brace on, and his neck got injured in some fashion. But yeah, so it did not go too well for him. I don't know why he was there. Like I said, I don't know if it was some sort of promotional thing or something, but yeah, I just, I would not get into a ring with people that I know can destroy my face. So, there's that.
Yeah. You play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
I don't know if I'd call that a prize.
Oh, these aren't prizes, but they are lessons. Don't go into a wrestling ring.
But yeah, that's the headline for today. I mean, this is going on in late February, if not early March. So this is old news. Maybe he's better by this point. We'll have to see.
But do you got a creator showcase? And I was really interested in the showcase today. So I really want to know. Yeah.
I mean, would you be sad to know that there is no creator showcase?
I'd be devastated.
So do I make John devastated, or do I actually do my career showcase? This is the question.
Devastate him. Devastate him.
Devastate him. Now that's a Noah maneuver. Yeah. So my career showcase is again, a lot of people I do are on YouTube Shorts. And that's because I kind of I don't scroll all the time, but I scroll enough that I'll watch someone halfway through the week and I'll mark them down, just so I can be like, oh, I'll just do that on the career showcase when that comes out. But this one, I think we're gonna be using this channel at some point for an episode, because John a long time ago, kind of when the podcast, I want to say after episode 30 or something. It was around that time where John had actually suggested a topic like this. And it revolves around funny Steam reviews. Or just funny reviews in general. And there's a creator that I'm looking at. They're called Best Steam Reviews 01 is their name. And they do just that. They will give you, so they have each video, or each short in this case, is about a game. And then in that game, they read you, it's an AI voice, so it's even funnier. But they read you some funny reviews from that game. So the one I'm looking at now is the Stanley Parable. It says, laptop battery died and I thought I was a part of the game. 11 out of 10. So they just read you these funny Steam reviews for the game. And I've been bookmarking all of the episodes so that eventually I can get enough of them so that we can do we can react to funny Steam reviews later down the line. So awesome channel. They made me laugh every time. There was one that was I think it was Euro Truck Simulator or something like that. One of the reviewers was I got my truck flipped over. 10 out of 10. It's just that's all it was. And so it's pretty great. But yeah, if you want to check them out, Best Steam Reviews 01 on YouTube. Again, similar to some of the other ones, because I recommend people of all varieties. I've recommended Markiplier, which poor guy needs all the subscribers he can get. But these guys actually only have 3,000 subscribers, so if you can blow them up, that'd be great. Because again, we're going to be using these guys, or maybe even our own research eventually at some point, to read these Steam reviews. So go check them out.
All right, yes. Well, I think we can move into the topic for the day. If that's okay with you guys. If it's not okay with Noah, I don't really care.
I'm curious to see what boring ass topic this host came up with.
You literally were a part of the discussion.
You know that the topic.
Trying to make fun of John, you should know this.
You can't make fun of him when you're just objectively wrong.
Yeah, if you're just stupid, then I'm not even gonna make fun of them. You're the one who should be made fun of. But,
alright, bald fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's point.
Well, yeah, I do not object, although we should probably explain to them what we're doing, because the title is probably not going to be very clear. So.
Yes. Well, I think briefly in the last episode, if you listen to that, we talked about how things are going in our personal lives and how it's going. It's great. But when we were in high school, we had all these ideas of what the real world would be like, and we'd be like, "Oh man, this high school stuff, it sucks." Once I'm in the real world, I'll be great. It'll be awesome. And that didn't happen. So we're gonna talk about that today.
Yeah.
I would say you're doing a terrible job of explaining it, but you're the host, so I will refrain.
I'll do it for you, John. You're doing a terrible job.
I appreciate feedback. That's a point to know.
What the hell?
Worst job I've ever seen.
Worst job I've ever seen. So again, so the title part explains this part of it. So the title of this episode is "We Were Kings," and the reason it's titled that is because that's what we thought we were. Because we were in school. We were besides school being annoying and stuff like that, and even back then, looking back on it, it wasn't that annoying. we had no responsibilities. There's no money that needed to be happening. We didn't need to get a job. We didn't need to do all these other stuff. We were just being kids at the end of the day. And so when it's titled We Were Kings, because we were kings. We were on the top of the world. We knew what we were doing. We were having fun. We were hanging out with friends. We weren't doing anything too important in the grand scheme of things. And we were just having fun. That's the point of it. We were just having fun. So that's how I would kind of explain what this episode's going to be about.
Yeah.
10 out of 10, Ethan.
You're stretching it.
You're stretching it.
You're sort of remind me of that guy that's like, I've had it up to here.
I've had it up to here with you kids.
Yeah, who would like to go first?
I volunteer as tribute.
Okay, I concede.
I concede.
You think with a I volunteer as tribute, I have to concede.
Yeah, so this topic was one that I wrote down a while ago. I want to say probably around 20 weeks ago, whatever that equals. But it was that's probably not actually not that long. But it was a little bit ago because I wrote it down because I was watching a show that was kind of subtly teaching you that the real world is a lot scarier than what you would perceive it to be. Now again, the reason it's called We Were Kings is because when we were in high school, like I said, we were on top of the world. We were we were hanging out with friends. We were participating in projects, whether either school or off school, what doesn't matter. We were playing video games. We were reading books. We were creating things. We were doing all this fun stuff that didn't require any responsibilities outside of the bare minimum, right? And then you leave high school. You leave high school and you're thrust immediately into the real world. Now you have two options when you leave high school. You can either go directly into the workforce or you can go to college. And both are daunting tasks because college especially is daunting because you're spending more of your life for education and you have to actively buy it. It's not just public school where it's free. I mean, it's free for you because you were the child, but it's not free for your parents because they had to pay taxes. But you get the idea. But college is expensive. In fact, I've been looking into college recently, and without financial aid, oh my goodness, it is expensive, man. And that's just like a public school. Never mind the private institutions that are looking at like $96,000 per semester. So super expensive, and usually you'll be going in debt, unless you have some super special financial aid program that allows you to basically get a full ride. So there's that, and then on the other side of the coin, you have the workforce. Now, the workforce can be difficult to get into just based on what you're looking for, because for me, for example, I was looking for just a basic retail. I was hoping to work at Barnes and Nobles because I'm like, oh, that'd be a great environment for me because it's quiet. I love to read books, and being a cashier, to me, didn't seem that difficult. And now that I do cashier, I do cash people out in my job, so I will say that it's easy. It's easy when they just do a card, because then it's just like, oh, would you like your receipt? That's literally it. Outside of inputting what they ordered. If they hand me money, then I gotta do math, and that's difficult. So yeah, I was just looking for a Barnes & Nobles thing. Barnes & Nobles eventually, we did an interview, but then they went with someone else. I applied to several other different places, got not rejected, but they just didn't get back to me. And then finally landed on this one place that I've been working at recently that, has been there. It's part-time, so unfortunately it's not consistent. But it's still a decent place to work, and I do enjoy at least 75% of the job. There is a couple parts I don't really like too much. Doing dishes is never really fun, right? Doing some of the prep work is not fun, and then doing anything on the lines, it's basically like a Chipotle type of thing, but it's family owned, and it's not Mexican. So that's super fun, that's super easy. Dealing with customers is super easy, and all that jazz. But it's all these things that we thought were easy are not, basically. And that is especially true when you actually get into the real world. And so, but that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about how that works, because some of you might be in high school right now. I don't have the age. That's the one statistic I don't get, and I don't know how we'd get it anyway, so that's probably why I don't have it. But the one statistic I don't have is the age range. But I can basically assume, based on our tags and based on our explicitness, thanks to Noah. Essentially, I'm guessing we're between like teenagers to adults, right? That'd be my best guess. And some of the data does show this because it shows that the times of the day when people listen, because usually people are done with work around a certain time, and that's when we spike a little bit. So you get the idea. But some of you might be in high school right now, or hopefully this applies to none of you. But maybe you just get out of middle school or something, and you're going to high school. Either way, you're having a change that's gonna be happening eventually, and that change it's not gonna be easy. Like, we talked about change actually in the Hope Debate episode, about how difficult it is and how change can be good. And mind you, change in the real world can be good. But sometimes it's just not. We gotta be flat out. Sometimes it's not good because change sometimes happens against your will, usually. Especially in the real world. But when you're in high school, and I'll save my, like, ending statement for the end, especially with high school students, and even with college students, I mean, it applies to you guys too, just because you're furthering your education, so it applies to you guys as well. But when it comes to the real world, it is crazy. It is nuts. It is a lot of stuff you gotta take care of, and it's a lot of stuff you have to kind of just deal with. It's a lot of just dealing with it, right? It's not so much that you like it or that you're accepting of it. You just have to kind of just deal with it. And that honestly is one of the hardest parts. But I'll let Noah jump into the conversation.
Yeah. To what Ethan was saying, when I was in high school, especially, I thought I was like a king, man, just living on top of the world, like I had it all figured out. And God, I will say now, looking back at how I acted in high school, I am fucking ashamed of that. Like, really ashamed of that. Like, I wish I had done better in school. But, it's weird because when I was in high school, I was like, okay, I've got to suffer through 2-3 more years, whatever the fuck, of high school so I could get this diploma, which is to be like this golden magic ticket that'll help me get a job when I get out of high school. That was a lie. That diploma might as well have just been another piece of paper. Like, when I got out of high school, for me, there were a couple options. Go into the workforce immediately, or, and I was lucky, take a vacation. Took a vacation. Got out back from that vacation, and immediately started working. So, when you go into the real world and you start working, and I don't know what everyone does, but for me, my first job was working in a factory that made and produced forklifts. Not the best job in the world. The pay was basically what kept me there for a lot of it, because the pay was pretty good. But, there's a lot of things that you do not think about when you're in high school. And then when you get out, God, there's just so many responsibilities. Like, I just got my W-2 for my taxes, and speaking of which, taxes made me cry this year trying to file that. Fucking nightmare. But, yeah, when you're in high school, you really think the world is a simple place, but you realize real quick once you're out, it's not a simple place. It's a cruel, unforgiving world that will eat you up if you let it.
Well said.
Jesus Christ, I kind of went dark.
Well, that reminded me, too, that I was kind of incorrect. I mean, I listed the 2 main choices. There's actually technically 4. So, the 2 ones I already said, workforce and college. Those are the 2 main ones. You have the third one of going into the military. There's that as well that I forgot. But that is rough. True. Like, that is rough. Coming from people that I've talked to that have tried to do that, it is rough to get into that. And then the third choice is kind of what Noah did. I mean, I don't know if Noah means a literal vacation, like you went to the Bahamas or something. But this is what I did as well, is I wanted to take a year off and just relax and think about what I wanted to do. And unfortunately, that year that I was doing that was riddled with problems and was riddled with us moving as well. That didn't help a lot, was moving. And I believe that the podcast was formed before we left high school, because I remember us talking about, like, hey, I just graduated. John, hold our beers. We graduated, whatever we said. But yeah, so that was founded before that. But even then, I was like, I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Like, did I want to go back to school? The answer was, at the time, the answer was no. I was like, definitely not fit enough to go into the military, so that's not going to work. And then I'm like, okay, I guess that just leaves the workforce. But what do I want to do for work? And I was throwing out a bunch of different options. I'm like, well, I would love to be a game designer. That'd be awesome. Either an indie game designer, or if I need to, I can go work for a company or something. A company I like Ubisoft or something.
Yeah.
Or I could like do book writing, but then that to me that was like, oh, maybe I'll just do it on the side and do like a main job on the thing. Right now I have a job just for the sake of getting money. It's not like I'm not going to pursue a job in the culinary industry or anything. But it's one of those things that I was just thinking about it. And I was trying to enjoy myself for that year, because I knew as soon as that year was over, it was gonna be crazy. And boy, was I right. Because like Noah just said, you're in high school. You're the king of the world. You don't need to worry about anything. You don't need to worry about taxes. You don't need to worry about getting money. You don't need to worry about any of that stuff. Maybe you get money from like doing other things. Like maybe you get chores, maybe you do chores and you get money for that. Or maybe you have like a part-time job even in high school. So I know some people did that. But it's still not the same, because a part-time job could be like 8 hours or less a week, right? So like doesn't necessarily mean much. But you might be doing that just to get a little bit of money on the side. But I didn't do that because I was just focused on spending time with friends and doing all that stuff. But it's crazy to think that all the way back then we were just enjoying ourselves, hanging out with each other, talking about what we were going to do, like playing games together, like doing all that kind of fun stuff. And now it's just kind of like Noah said. I mean, it is depressing in a sense, because it's just you've lost that joy. You've lost, I mean, not all joy, mind you, but you've lost the joy of spending time with each other. Because I can speak personally, I haven't seen John and Noah in a few years at this point. The last time I saw John was when we did, me and John, the last time we saw each other was when we did me, John, and Axel and Logan went to Cracker Barrel together. We just hung out for a while and talked and stuff like that. That was what, John, 4 years ago? Probably 3, I would think.
I think it was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was about 3 years ago.
And the last time I saw Noah was at graduation. So, like, that was 4 years ago. No, 3 years ago as well.
3.
Either way, it's been a long time. And mind you, some people haven't seen each other in 5 years. So this, like, you guys are sitting there like, oh, I haven't seen my friends in 10 years. What are you talking about? But yes, that's true. But we haven't seen each other in a long time. And it's just one of those things that you like, we can still talk to each other. We're still having this podcast. That's why we did the podcast initially, was to have sort of an excuse to talk to each other. And then it eventually evolved into, let's actually have a purpose for doing this podcast. But like, it's one of those things that at some level, some of the joy is gone, because you don't get to see each other every day like you did in school. You don't get to hang out with each other every day like you did back then.
Yeah.
So
Like one thing I could say I took for granted back in high school was every day I got to see like my friends, like my group. Like every day when I was in high school, I would get to, when John was still in high school with me before he moved, I got to walk and talk with him a little bit. Most of the time I walked and talked with Ethan. I took advantage of that so much, and I'm glad I did, because it afforded me these opportunities to talk to both Ethan and John at different points through high school, but I was still able to talk to my friends. I was still able to see them. Whereas Ethan's right, it's been like 3 years since I've seen Ethan. And John, I think it's been maybe 4.5 years since I've seen you. It's been a while. Either way, it's been a while.
I moved in 2020, and now it's 2025.
So,
well, 2025 just started, though.
Yeah, I'm not counting 2025 just yet, because it kind of just started. But either way, been a while. And one thing Ethan actually reminded me of when he was talking about his job was on this. In high school, I don't know about everyone, but when I was in high school, I had an idea of what job I ideally wanted to do when I got out of high school. The sad reality to that is, whatever your job that you want to do ideally is, the problem with that is, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be doing it. Do you think I want to be working in a steel factory with what I currently do? No. That's not my ideal job. I hate my fucking job. It pays the bills, but that's about it. So, keep that in mind when you're thinking about things. Like, your ideal job, maybe you'll get that one day. But for, like, me, Ethan, and maybe John. John's in school. Ethan and me, we're both working. It's jobs that pay the bills and help, but it's not what we want to be doing.
Well, that's the thing too. Is I'm the opposite actually, because you said you hate your job, but it pays the bills. Mine is the opposite, where I love is a strong word, so I'll say I like my job, but it doesn't pay the bills. So like, there's that dissonance where it's like I don't know what to do. And actually, I didn't mention this, and this was I sort of did, I guess, about a week ago. I think it was just a week ago. It was before we did the Secret to Life episode, so whatever that was.
Okay.
I had gone to like so many different businesses in my neighborhood, being like, "Oh, are you guys hiring for part time?" Because like I needed two, because like one with the one I'm doing, while I do like it, wasn't enough. And so I'm like, I went to so many different businesses. I even colluded with the enemy. I went to Burger King. Yes, I know, but even they were like, "No, we're not hiring." And like, it's just like, oh my goodness. Like, it was just, I even said this in the last couple episodes, it was just dead end after dead end after dead end, and it's just, it just really sucks, dude.
It really does. That's one thing.
For me, when I was in high school, you know, I was, we'll go back as far as when I was still with you guys. I was just like, yeah, you know, I'm fine, I'm chilling, I got my shit figured out together. Little did I did not, in fact, have my shit figured out.
Little did John know, he did not have his shit together.
Little did John know, everything will go through.
Yeah, you know, I was like, I got this. And then I moved, and that was a very abrupt change, for sure. Because I remember we took our midterms, like, what was that? That would be beginning of January, I think.
Beginning of January.
And it was a couple of days before that I even knew that I was going to move. I didn't know when. I didn't know like how exactly, like how, if I was going to finish up the year or go sooner. Yeah, I had very little information. My parents were just like, "We're moving. This is why." And I'm like, "But we don't know when." And they asked me not to tell anyone. And I remember midterms is like, "Okay, you can tell people because we got stuff finalized." It was like a week later we moved, and then COVID happened. Not great. And then I went to my new school. I did it all virtual because everyone was doing virtual. And I finished that school, and you know, I didn't really know what I was doing. I had none of my shit figured it out. I was like, I guess I'll go to college because that's what people do. And so I went to community college, and every single one of my classes, except one of them, had awful teachers. They're like the worst teachers I've ever had, except for maybe one who I currently have, and he's really pissing me off. But that's a story for another day. It was just like, it was terrible. And this was when I was doing Twitch at this point. I don't think I had started making YouTube videos. Or maybe I had, but it was very early on in that point. We hadn't started podcasts, and I was just kind of there. I was existing. I was like, I don't know what to do like this. YouTube, this Twitch stuff, like I'm making some money, but not much. And like, if I wanted this to be a thing, like I would really have to go into it. And I don't have the growth to do that, and I still don't have the growth to do that full time anyway. But I've gotten to a better place with that, and I was just kind of trying to find a way forward, and I was struggling, man. It was rough for a while there, and then I went to join the Coast Guard just last year, and that sucked. It was a nightmare trying to get it started, which should have been a good flag that like, maybe this isn't the right thing. But it was, once I got into it, it was just, I immediately got injured, and I had to get out. And now we're here, and I'm going back to school, and it's a lot better now. And this is like, I don't have it all figured out. Not even. But I have a lot more figured out because of those experiences. But it sucked. It was rough for a good few years there. And that's what I'm trying to get at, is that in high school, it's like, oh, this is great. I get to see my friends. Even after like I found out I was moving in that like short time where I was about to move, I was like going to see friends hang out with them. Like I had a going away party with a handful of my friends, and like that was great, really fun stuff. And I was like, this is great. I got my stuff figured out. I know who I am and what I want to do. And then, because of my terrible teachers, I no longer knew what I wanted to do because they taught me so terribly and put me off the entire field that I was thinking about.
Damn.
And it was a roller coaster for sure, and it was not a fun one.
Yeah.
So no, you heard what he just said, right? Is he had a party and he didn't invite us? Unbelievable.
Actually, I have a little tidbit to that. I was invited to that party. I was supposed to show up. I didn't show up because I was on FaceTime during that party.
So
It's really-
I guess I didn't invite you, Ethan. I feel like I
Maybe you did, and I just couldn't. I don't remember you giving me anything though, so maybe I don't know. It's been a long time. I can't remember.
It wasn't like a real like party. Like we went to Dunkin' and we just kind of
Yeah, no, I remember it was like a few people. I remember the plan was just go to Dunkin' and
Maybe you had
before
mentioned it, and I was going somewhere at the time. Maybe like I just
Yeah,
maybe
I
that's
think-
why I don't remember it because I literally wasn't even in town that day or something.
Yeah, now that you mentioned it, I think you're like, oh, I'm actually busy. I can't do it. I'm like, oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then
But see, like that's another instance, right? Where if I had a time machine, I would like I don't remember what I was doing. It probably wasn't that important. So like I probably could have been like, oh yeah, I'll go to that thing. Because at that point, I mean, I saw you after that because we went to Cracker Barrel because you had came back to New York. That was before I had moved, so you came back to that area, or not that area, but you were near the area enough so you can get a ride to where we were going.
right.
And we saw each other then. So even still, it wouldn't have mattered, but that would have been the last time I saw you in that specific town that we were in.
Mm-hmm.
Or no,
And it was also like when it came to that kind of ideas, the original plan we had for the movie got thrown out the window because of COVID. What was originally going to be the plan is we moved in January, and my sister was going to move with us, but she was still in college, and she graduated that May, so she was still going to college. So we went. So what the plan was is we were going to go back and forth. Like each time we go, we might take a few extra things. So it wasn't like one big moving day. It was just like a bunch of like back and forth trips. Which it was like a 6-hour drive, 8-hour drive, something like that. So it was it was a lengthy thing to
Jeez.
do. But we did it every weekend for like 3 weekends. And then COVID struck, and then we weren't allowed. It was against the rules. Like there's no travel between these states. And a couple times it was like, oh, maybe we'll be able to go. But then they're like, oh no, it's gotten worse. And so we weren't able to do that. So a lot of what I wanted to do with friends and stuff, I couldn't do because of that.
yeah, I will say COVID for me specifically is I almost kind of I don't know. It was a love-hate relationship because of COVID, I didn't have to take certain finals or certain exams, and so I loved that part of it. I loved that part of it.
Yeah.
But on the other side, I didn't get to see my friends. And so all of 11th grade, and like I guess the tail end part of 10th grade, is I didn't see any friends. I would chat with them virtually, but I didn't see them. And and then another plus side is I really just had one class I had to be to because they held the Zoom classes, but I guess in my classes they didn't care if you were there or not as long as you did the work. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to be there, so I'm just going to do the work. So I only had my BOCES class to go to, and I loved doing the BOCES class. And then what I had a routine every day is I would wake up around like 8 or so, because BOCES didn't start till 11, maybe 11:30. It was somewhere in that time. Or no, it was 12, I think. No, it was 12. I don't remember. And so what I'd do is I'd wake up around 8 or 9 or something, somewhere in that region. I'd get up, go downstairs, and we had a chair that had like a pretty big, armrest, I guess you can say. It was a thick with 3 C's chair. And so I was able to place my laptop on the arm and then work off that. And what I did for the first like hour was I would catch up on all my work that needed to be done, and I would submit it. Boom, done, all good. And then for that, like while I was waiting for BOCES to start, I would just start writing my book, and I would listen to music while I was doing that. And it was just, I did enjoy that a lot. Just being able to sit at home, and not do that kind of stuff. And also, my grandfather, on my mom's side worked at the school. And so they had a bunch of surplus of food because once everything went virtual, they had no use for it and they didn't want to throw it out. And so they were giving it to people. And my grandpa, like once they distributed it to everyone, they're like, "Oh, we have some extra. Did you want to take it?" And so he would take it and then bring it to us. And so I got to try a lot of different stuff that I normally wouldn't have tried because there was like a sausage mixed with cheese thing. Like there's cheese in the sausage that I never knew the school was gonna do. Of course I got chicken patties, which were pretty good, and like that kind of stuff. So I did enjoy that part of it, but at the same time there was still the inhuman element of I never actually got to see anybody outside of my family.
Yeah.
And when you're with family for a long time, you start to get on each other's nerves. So there's that. But yeah, so I liked that part of it. But overall, COVID was obviously pretty bad for a lot of people. So
Yeah. I mean, for me, my 11th grade year was actually a bit different. So for me, it consisted of there would be 2 days where I would go into the school and actually go into class. But the next 3 days were virtual. And that was my schedule for quite a while.
Yeah, I don't remember why I got away with just being virtual the entire time. Because I forgot. Maybe because of the classes I took, I didn't need to be there for, so I forgot.
Yeah. Either way, though, my 11th grade year was a bit different. Because I actually got to go to my BOCES class during those 2 days when I physically went. Which was actually pretty nice. Because there was always people that I didn't really know all that much. Guess I was a bit of an introvert, didn't really talk to anyone.
Yeah, but you were in a culinary class, weren't you? So you were in a hot kitchen with a mask on? That sounds like it sucks.
Yeah, it did suck, man. When you have an all-black chef's outfit on, and then a black mask to top it, through which you can barely fucking speak, because apparently to everyone, I sound like a mouse. The mask on. So, yeah, that was fun. Really fun.
But yeah, it's just insane to think about, how simple it was back then. And also, I recently watched this video that said, that they're calling it Mandela effect, but it's really not. And people were like, oh, when we were kids, everything had a lot more color. There was so much, the world was beautiful, and now it's all kind of dull and sad and stuff like that. And scientifically, that's true. Because your eyes, over time, start to lose a lot of the sharp colors that it had before. And so, now the world did change with it, so it's not just our eyes changing. Because, for example, McDonald's used to be red and yellow. It used to be classic red and yellow. You go to McDonald's now, it's gray and black, isn't it? So, it's just kind of sad. It's kind of dull. They lost the color. And it's just I remember specific memories of being in my grandma's camper, because they would go camping a lot. I would be in there after school and I would be watching SpongeBob. It's I'm just thinking of all these awesome memories of just being a kid, basically.
Yeah. When I was younger and I would come home from school, throw my backpack on the floor because fuck that shit, pull out whatever I had so I could watch a YouTube video, see Jacksepticeye uploaded and be like, oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah, that was exactly it was actually kind of similar for me, is where I would watch Jack, but he wasn't my main person. I would switch between Jack, Mark, and Corey Kenshin, who we have mentioned before. And what my schedule would be is, when I was at my grandma's house, I would always watch SpongeBob. I didn't watch YouTube videos. When I got home, I would watch YouTube. But what I do when I got to my grandma's house, is I would put my bag down, and I would always make a bologna sandwich. That was one of my number one things, because usually I was still hungry after school lunch, because they either I didn't eat it all or I didn't like it, and so I just nibbled at it a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I would always get a bologna sandwich to actually have a bigger lunch. And they were super good, obviously, bologna. Now I'm more sophisticated, so I either have German bologna or no bologna type of thing.
German bologna.
But that's the thing. But yeah,
I believe you.
But it was super good, and then I would watch SpongeBob, and then I would our mom would come home from work, and she'd pick us up and take us home, and that's when I would watch YouTube videos, and I'd either watch it depended on who uploaded that day. I think all three of them did sometimes, so I just watch all three back to back. But it was great, man.
At least when I was younger, I actually had something similar to you, Ethan. So this was a very brief amount of time, but when I was still in New Mexico, I was 12, 13. went to my grandpa's house after school every day. That's where I would go, make a bologna sandwich, except I used mustard because I didn't just want straight bologna. I'd have that and then just like down 2 bottles of water because, well, it's hot and I'm tired and want water.
Gotcha.
Damn, that was a really simple time.
Well, that's what this is all about. Is like we were kings back then. We were on top of the world. We like obviously when I say we were kings, we didn't think we were actually kings. We didn't think we were better than everyone else. I want to preface that. What we're saying is that we were in our prime. You know, like we had all that sort of stuff. And my cat just entered my room without my permission. Hang on.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but it's funny. You said we weren't kings, but I remember when I got my first tablet, and I just thought to myself when I got to my grandma's, I'm a king now. I've got this big ass screen.
I'm a king now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know. It's just like it's such a simple time back then. It's like, you know, you look back on it and you're like, oh, I wish I did this more. Like I wish I like Noah was actually talking about this earlier. It's like or was it John? Someone was talking about it. One of them was talking about it. But they were like, oh, I wish I had spent, like, I took this for granted. I wish I had spent more time with people.
Yeah.
And if high school middle school just sucked. I would never do middle school ever again. But high school specifically, there's something just different about it. And the difference for me was freedom. Because in middle school, oh my goodness, it was beat down after beat down after beat down for me specifically. Maybe not for everybody, but for me it was. And so I was happy to get out of that place. Outside of the friend group that we made, because we made our friend group in middle school. So outside of that, I hated everything else. But high school specifically, it was like, hey, you get to walk around with your backpack. You don't need to use your locker. I was so appreciative of that because I was tired of going to my locker every freaking class. Or just carrying around everything for the entire day. But yeah, I got to wear my backpack. I liked the classes a lot more. The teachers were so much better. Like I still did like some of the teachers in the middle school, but the high school had a lot better teachers to me. And it was just like all this fun stuff that you got to do, and there's so much extracurricular stuff if you wanted to do it. I was in a foreign language club. I was in a board game club. I was in chorus honors. I was in regular chorus. It was like all these things that I got to do, and without really responsibility outside of the bare minimum stuff of like just be here and do it. Now we've entered the real world where it's like, hey, you got a job. You need to be there Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday, whatever you're there for. You got to work from here to here. You got to do your job correctly, otherwise you get fired. You got to give money to pay your bills. You got to pay your taxes on said bills. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And that's just a scratch on the surface. Like there's other stuff that we could talk about this topic for 3 hours if need be, but you know.
Right.
I could talk about this for a while.
But John hasn't talked in a while, so we should let him jump in.
Yeah, it's funny. But I was gonna say, when it comes to like it was simpler times, like that's true, you know. And when you're in the simpler times, you're like, wow, it's so complex, man. Like I got so much going on right now, and I guess that's part of like learning and growing and getting to the point where you are now. Whereas like, when you're a kid, you're like, oh man, I have things I don't like to do, and therefore I have a lot going on. When it's really, really not much going on. If a good analogy I just thought of is like juggling. When you're learning to juggle, I imagine, I don't know how to juggle, so I might be way off base here. But if you're learning to juggle, you know, 3 balls, like, that's a lot, I mean, to say. You know, it's like, I can't handle all of this. If you're really talented at juggling, though, that 3 balls is not that much. And you don't really think about it. So like, oh yeah, 3 balls. Maybe if I have like 5 things or chainsaws or whatever, then it becomes harder. And it becomes more complex. And then when you think back, you're like, oh man, look how stupid I was back when I thought 3 balls was hard to juggle.
Yeah.
That reminds me to the Bad Habits episode where I mentioned my bad habit was like playing with sharp things, and one of John's jokes after that was like, John's exact quote was, I believe, like, fast forward 5 years later, Ethan's like, I started juggling chainsaws the other day. I'll always remember the joke that he made there.
When he said chainsaws, I was just thinking, yeah, he's remembering when I used to have arms.
Did you say he doesn't have arms anymore?
I had arms. I tried to learn how to juggle chainsaws. It was so much easier now.
So much easier, yeah. Just get prosthetics, man.
But you know, that's my point is like, when you're a kid and all you had to do is you go to school, and when you're done with school, you don't have homework, and so you just get to, do whatever, Maybe you have chores, I had chores when I grew up, so I had my chores. But like most of the time, I was playing video games, I was just chilling, I was watching TV, I was doing my little kid things, and I was like, man, I'm so swamped, I got a spelling bee next week. And then like, fast forward to middle school. Middle school's a learning curve for sure, because it's when you start taking classes, and all that, and like, it sucks for everyone because of puberty and everything else. No one likes middle school. Like, if someone's like, man, my best days were middle school, they're lying. They're a stupid liar who shouldn't be trusted.
Well, there's some people that peaked in middle school, but other than that,
If you peaked in middle school, I'm sorry for you, man. You gotta get good.
You gotta get good.
But then you move on to high school, and you're taking multiple classes. You have lots of homework, a lot more homework than you did before. And then maybe you have a side job, you don't have to, but you might, maybe. And then it's still like, man, so much work. And then you fast forward to your adult life. Literally the other day, I thought to myself, man, I am so busy, I can't have a personal life. And I never thought that in high school.
Well, that's a good point. Is like I haven't thought that specifically, but I thought the other day, just like I got so many books for Christmas, and I haven't had time to even finish one yet. And it's like, if I want to get to 12 books, like a book a month is a super basic. Like, you should be able to do that easily. Like, but I haven't been able to. Like, I've read parts of one book, but I haven't been able to finish one yet, just because I've been so busy.
Right.
Yeah, that's like, and I imagine maybe when I'm out of college, and say I'm taking a quote unquote real job, then I'll be like, man, those stupid college students, and that guy said he was so busy he couldn't have a personal life. What an idiot. But it's a lot,
Yep. And I mean that's the crux of it, right? Is that like, just how, like, back in the day, we thought life was complicated. We thought, like, oh, I gotta work at school, I gotta go to all these classes, I gotta get good grades, otherwise I fail, and I gotta help back, and then when I get home, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do chores, and like, it's like, we thought it was super complicated, when in reality, it wasn't. Like, we just perceived it as complicated because that's how we felt at the time. And now looking back on it, we're like, oh my goodness, we had so much free time back in the day. Like, we could just do whatever. It didn't matter what we did. Like, we were just living life and all that stuff. Now we gotta pay for things. Now we gotta pay bills. Now we gotta pay the IRS because, they gotta get their money. Well, they're not gonna tell us how much we owe because that's something we gotta figure out. Even though they already know it, makes total sense. No questions asked, right? Never mind the fact that no other country does that. Anyway, but it's just like all these responsibilities immediately get placed on you. Whether you go to college or whether you go to whatever, it doesn't matter. It gets immediately placed on you pretty quickly. The only time it wouldn't is if you do what I did, which is take the year off. Which, like, it did bite me in the butt a little bit because I didn't get the work experience required that some of the places I was applying to wanted, as well as the fact that I don't drive yet. I didn't drive either, or anything. I didn't start getting my license I didn't start getting my permit until 6 months ago. A little bit more than that, maybe. So yeah, it's just all these responsibilities get placed on you pretty much immediately.
That's one thing no one really tells you about is the amount of responsibilities that you will take on in life. And some days it just feels like it never ends with the amount of responsibilities that are thrown your way. And like Ethan said earlier, you're gonna just have to learn to live and deal with it. Doesn't mean you enjoy it, but one way or another, you just learn to live with it, and it sucks.
And that's even just our experience with it. If you think about, there are some people who, have kids at our age, even younger, like 20, 21.
I am 21.
Well, yeah, 21. But I was thinking 20, and then I was like, moved it up a year, and wait a minute, 21. Anyway, they have kids, and then they're like, having a kid, you're not only responsible for all the things you're responsible for, you're responsible for another freaking human being. And that's good.
Now, well, not only that, But if you're the husband specifically, you're responsible for 2. So, because the mom, like, if she just gave birth, especially, she's going to be home. She's not going to work. So you're actually responsible for 2, at least until either your wife goes back to her job or gets a job after the fact. So, like, because now that John just said that, it reminded me that, as soon as I graduated high school, I think it was like 6 months after I graduated high school, someone I knew that went to school with me, they had a baby. It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And they, like, financially, I don't know how they were doing, but I knew mentally they were perfectly capable of doing so. And I'm like, good for them. And, like, if they want to do that, I mean, the benefit of that is having generational families, because you have, like, I know some people that are families where, like, the youngest is 3 months old and the oldest is, like, 96. And, like, that's so many different generations there. And so that's the one benefit. There may be more that I'm not thinking of, but that's like the one I can think of having kids early. But, you know, outside, like, if I'm going to have a kid, I want to be financially ready for that. I want to be, like, mentally, I feel like I could be, but it's, like, financially, I need to be ready for that. And right now, that is never going to happen. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, we were kings, man. That's why it's titled that. That's why the episodes are centered around this, because that's what we were. Again, we're not thinking that we're better than anyone. I don't want people to get that idea. Because this applies to any of us. We were all kings back then, and now we're just peasants living on the edge. I guess. We're not all living on the edge, but like some people living on the edge, some people just walking by it. You know.
Yeah. Unless you come from generational wealth, and then you just like.
Well, then you get a free pass, I guess.
And then you get a free pass. You get.
They bought the DLC for their.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, is that how are we doing on time?
We got about 24 hours to go, John. Keep going. We're doing 24-hour stream. Yep.
24 hours of talking.
Oh my god, I'd lose my.
I would
just talk about one topic for like 24 hours. Oh my goodness, man. Not even just talking streamers do that.
Yeah. I'd have to call it a work if we did that.
I don't think I would. I don't work tomorrow. I don't think. Actually, I'd have a campus tour tomorrow.
I have classes until 4 o'clock in the evening. It's so great. Last week it was till 5.
Wow.
Oh.
I actually, for me, it depends on when I work, because sometimes I'll work double shifts, but like, I either work the morning / afternoon or the evening. The evening sucks because you get to close down everything. Cleaning is not my specialty. I'll just say that straight up. But if I do the evenings, I don't get out till 9. So it's pretty crazy. I mean, but if I only do the evening that day, then I have the free time of the morning and the afternoon. But if I do the afternoon or the morning / afternoon and the evening, I really only have an hour in between, because what I'll do is I'll leave around 3:30. I'll walk back home, which walking back takes about 15 minutes. And then I'll leave right back at like 4:30 to go back down. So I really just have like that hour, if that. It's probably a little less, to like relax and do something. Usually I'll grab a quick bite to eat or something, or sometimes I'll get a bite to eat at the restaurant because I work at a food place. And because I'm an employee, I get a massive discount. Or sometimes he just gives it out for free. So there's that too, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's just like, yeah, it's that's what I mentioned before, is like I haven't been able to read any of my books yet, which I'm not trying to say that because I've read a little bit of some of them, but it's just like I haven't finished a book yet, and it's really sad to say that because I love reading. I've recently started getting back on I was working on a game project a long time ago, and I kind of just, with everything that was going on, I kind of just had to halt it for a while. I finally got back on doing that. But even then, it was only for like 2 hours, because I worked till 9 a couple days ago, so it was only for like 2 hours, and then 2 hours the next day, and then today I haven't touched it yet because I've been busy all morning. But yesterday I didn't work either because they had enough people that day. So yesterday I got some good work on it, but it's just the time factor, man. And I will always be a beneficiary of saying time is the best currency that you need to utilize. It's not money. It's not any other form of currency. It's time. Because at the end of the day, time is the difference between money and, or like any form of money and time, is money can be gained and money can be taken away. Time can only be taken away. Time can never be gained. And so you need to use your time wisely. And so any chance I get to go on like a vacation with family, I'll take it. Any chance I get to spend time with family, I'll take it. Any chance I get to talk with friends, I'll take it. You get the idea. Because it's one of those things that you don't want to live your life just earning money for the sake of earning money. Because, while money's great and you need it to survive it to an extent, it cannot be the main focus of your life. The main focus of your life should be eventually freedom. Now, yes, money can help you achieve that. I know millionaires say that all the time. And it's true to an extent. But at the same time, it can't be your number one focus. Your number one focus has to be either yourself or your time. One of the two. And I'll always be a beneficiary of people saying that, because I truly believe time is something that cannot be wasted. Because at the end of the day, we're all ticking clocks. And at any moment, we don't know when it could happen. It could just, unfortunately, there was someone that I knew a year ago, 2 years ago, somewhere around there. I didn't know them. I knew a friend that knew them. And they were 35, and they unfortunately passed away randomly. On a random night, they passed away. And they were 35. That is super young. And they didn't have any heart failure. They didn't have any, diseases that would have caused it. It was just on the spot. And it's one of those things that we're all ticking time bombs. Once their time's up, our time's up. And you never know when that's going to be. And so I've always been an advocate of saying, make sure if you get any opportunity to spend time with family, spend time with friends, spend time with yourself, do so. Because that's what's most important. Now, I'm not saying that, quit your job or do all this stuff. Obviously, you need your job and stuff to keep your momentum going. But at some point, make sure you take time for yourself. And when given the opportunity to spend time with friends and family, take it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But that's probably my ending statement, because we're approaching time here.
Yeah, no, do you have an ending statement?
The only thing I would say is, I agree with Ethan. Money can always be gained or taken away, but time is one of those currencies where it's only ever taken away, and we are all ticking time clocks, essentially, of when we're gonna die. We don't know when, we don't know how, but we do know it's gonna happen at some point in time. Hell, we may not even feel it, it might just happen. Life is basically one big concave form of just not knowing what you're doing half the time, but also knowing that at any moment any moment in time, you could just keel over and die.
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'd say as my closing statement is you don't never know how much time you have, and you also never know what you will miss in the future. Right? You don't, because we can't read the future. You never know oh man, I wish I had done more of that. And I took that for granted when I was a kid. Like we said a couple times today, I miss being able to hang out with my friends, and I wish I didn't take that for granted. And I think there's every era, I guess, I look back at my life, every group of time that I think of, I'm like, there's something about that time that I miss and would go back to for it. And I think it's super easy to get wrapped up in what's bad about now and not notice what's good about it. And I think that if you're able to take the time to be like, yeah, life sucks, I gotta pay bills and whatnot, but I get to see my buddies on Sundays, so I get to hang out with them, talk to them, see how they're doing, and that's great. I'm glad I get to do this with you guys. And that's one thing that, maybe in 20 years from now, we don't do the podcast anymore. And I miss when we did the podcast. Everything else about that time period sucked. But man, that podcast, great. I'm just gonna go back to that. And that's kind of what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, my while you're doing my speech, my cat was like, screw John in his speech. I'm gonna knock everything over, so you can't hear it. No, they can hear it, but it's just they'll hear a little collapse of something falling in the background.
Man, that cat's really just after you today.
It's not actually my cat; it's my sister's cat that knows how to open doors. Apparently,
really?
Yep.
My cat,
all right,
but she has decided that she wants into a room. She'll just keep screaming until she gets.
She just keeps screaming. Hey, remember when we
Hey,
used to do that as a kid? Then I understand what cats are doing now, because as a kid, that's how it works. So you just scream until you get something.
Yeah. I mean, that's what my cat does around 5 o'clock. He just goes, meow, meow, Phoebe, fa.
Oh, your cat actually speaks? That's pretty incredible.
I wish he actually spoke. That'd be amazing.
You just go around saying screw you to everybody.
Probably, honestly. He's like one of those cats that, like, he's cute when he wants to be, but he's an asshole the majority of the time.
Well, John, I believe since you are the host, it's time to wrap it up.
Yes. Who would like to hear their points first?
How many points did I lose?
Well, no, you did get to claw your way out of the negatives. I mean, you weren't that negative. I only took away a couple points at the beginning. But you got 22 whole points.
Nice.
Good job. And Ethan, you got 25.
Hey,
Okay, so
there we go.
Okay, so I didn't get too screwed, alright.
I mean, we both had pretty good things to say. And,
Alright, you're the host and your opinion matters.
Flashback to the beginning of this episode when Noah's like, screw you and your opinion.
There's no character arc for Noah here.
I always gotta come up with some kind of remark like that.
Ethan, do you have a winner's speech for us?
I do. So, well, first and foremost, the next episode will be a game show. It's gonna be great. And we'll see how John and Noah fare against that. I mean, the last one was the Dead Silence game show, which was really well received, not only by you guys, but John and Noah seemed to like it as well. Now, we're not doing something similar to that or anything, but it's just gonna be another game show. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I still have to decide which one to do. I think I said in the Death Sounds game show the next one will be video game quotes. I haven't decided if that's actually the thing I'm going to do yet, so don't hold your breath on that. I might pick one that I feel like is a bit better suited for the next one. But either way, that's the next game show. That's the next thing that's going to happen, hopefully. But yeah, my winter speech overall is use time wisely, man. It's one of those things that you don't get back, and it's always nice to remember the good times, especially in your childhood, because that's kind of how you remember things. I always YouTube Shorts always feeds me these videos of like, oh, POV, you were born in the 2000s, and it flashes all these different images of like what life used to look like back then. Like they would show a picture of SpongeBob, like the first episode of SpongeBob, or it'd show a picture of like a playground full of kids like running around. Like it's like there's so much joy back then, you know. And now it's kind of, now because we're slowly becoming an adult, it slowly dwindles over time. And obviously you can still hold on to hope and then go see the Hope Debate episode if you want to curious on how to do that. But over time, I mean, realistically, over time it starts to dwindle just because you have more responsibilities and stuff. But I always love looking back on my life and being like, you know what, I'm glad I did this, I'm glad I did that. Kind of like what John was saying before, where it's like, you can get too wrapped up in the bad stuff, and that's why it's good to look back on what you did like, what you do enjoy, and like that kind of thing. Yeah, I guess that's where I'll leave it there.
Alright. And no, you don't deserve to lose a speech because you suck.
Wow.
Alright, I actually had something, but alright, cool. Fuck you too, you fucking big-headed prune juice drinking fucking prick.
Wow.
Prune juice, I mean, that was
That was the truly hurtful one.
That was a cranberry juice.
That's the one that got him, was the prune juice part.
Go drink a prune juice, Grandpa.
Alright, well, while I do that, if you guys want to find me over on Twitch, you can find me at Jeebins. I also do YouTube content, and you know, I was also known as Jeebins over there. A lot of good videos there. Like, there's a lot of, especially newer ones that came out back in December. Like, there's some really good ones there that I really like.
Yeah, I hear that guy drinks his prune juice.
Yep, back when you knew what he was doing. He got very good videos. But if you want to find Ethan, you can find him at VibesXC Gaming over on YouTube. And if you want to find Noah, you can find him at NoahDog5434 on Instagram. If you want to check out our Patreon, we have that. It's called The Provokers, just like the podcast. And we have multiple tiers that allow you to get special rewards and perks. The tiers range from $1 to $100, and the higher tier you buy, the more rewards you will get. And when you become a member of the Patreon, you get access to the exclusive Patreon-only Discord server. So you can hang out with us there. And as well as check out the extended cut on the story page of the Patreon, where we have about 30-minute episodes that are they cost $3 for the first few and then $5 afterwards, so you can really see what you want. We have a lot of cool stuff there, a lot of fun videos. So if you want to check that out, you can. And then that will wrap it up for today, and we'll see you guys next time.
John's Blood.